You are now listening to the Sportz Nutz.
Hey, everybody. Welcome, Joe, man. We really do appreciate this. And I want to say that, first off, to have this opportunity to talk to you, man, someone who has been around the game of hockey for a very long time, it really is special, not only for me, but also for my entire team at the Sportz Nutz. And I absolutely cannot tell you thank you enough. And I mean, man, like this literally is just a monumental moment for us. Real quick, how are you doing, man?
Well, I'm doing great after that introduction. I mean, how could I be doing any differently? I'm doing great, guys. It's been a fun road trip. We're in Vancouver right now, and hopefully wrapping up a perfect road trip by the end of Sunday. We'll see when we get there, but having a good time right now.
Man, I hope.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I gotta say thanks to my guy. So my guy's his name is Mike, but he goes by Pensman. But we gotta really say thank you for this opportunity. And so I'm gonna go right into it. Now, my first question that I have for you is, can you share with us some of your absolute favorite moments or calls for all that you had all time as covering the Pittsburgh Penguins?
Well, I've only been here a year and a half, and I feel like I've already been very lucky with a lot of history already. I mean, my first year heading into it, Evgeny Malkin was 2 goals away from reaching 500, and that was, I said, kind of my baptism by fire into the Pittsburgh Penguins organization. It could have happened in the first period of the first game of the year. It took a little bit, but that was a wild moment when I was kind of stressing out about. And once it happened, after it happened, I felt good about it, and kind of helped me settle in a little bit more. I mean, I've definitely had some bumps along the way, maybe some things I would have liked to call differently, but in this business, you just kind of got to let it rip, and however it pans out is what it is, and you just got to be okay with it and just try to prepare yourself as best you can for the next call. I'm just really lucky, guys. I mean, Sidney Crosby, a generational player, Evgeny Malkin, a generational player, Chris Letang, the same, and all three of those guys are on the same team. So it's been a blast. I've always said I would have taken any one of these gigs, and for it to be here with this organization, this stoic franchise, I'm really lucky. But yeah, to answer your question, I would say the Evgeny Malkin 500th goal is one of my favorites. It was really cool to witness Sid pass Mario for all-time points. That was kind of another one that was a little bit drawn out, and once it hit, it definitely matched its expectations. The Alex Nedeljkovic goalie goal last year was a lot of fun because that was something you couldn't prepare for, and you just had to ride the emotions of it. So yeah, a lot of fun stuff for sure. Hoping for a playoff call this upcoming year though.
Absolutely. All right, Mike, go ahead, man.
When you were younger, did you always know you were going to be in the media? More specifically, did you the sports industry?
I didn't know that I was going to be there, but it's definitely what I wanted to do. Yeah, I'm one of the lucky ones where I was 10 years old and I knew I wanted to call games. I loved sports, especially baseball, but I wasn't very good at them. And I quickly realized that this was a way to kind of be on a team and follow a team along, and but more importantly, be the bridge from the game to the fans, and that's the role I think I cherish most. If you can't be at the game, I'd like to make you feel like you're at the game. So it's definitely been a dream
Right.
come true for me. It's been a lot of fun. But yeah, I mean, I've been working towards this. It's hard to say since I was 10 years old because it's not like I'm 11 and I'm like hammering away at game notes or anything like that. But jumping into college right away, studying broadcast journalism, getting involved in the TV and radio stations, just doing everything I could along the way to try to get to this point. So it's definitely been very fulfilling.
I will say this too, Joe. It's funny you say that you've had this envision basically your whole life. When I was in sixth grade, I had to do this mock newscast for my classroom, and I went home that night and I said, "Mom, I'm going to be on the radio." And she said, "Okay, you tell yourself that." Well, here I am, all these years later, and I've gotten to do it. Now that you did make this mention, now that Sidney Crosby has passed the great Mario Lemieux, for all-time points with the Pittsburgh Penguins. Does this basically solidify him as a first ballot Hall of Famer? We know he's going into the Hall of Fame, but does this solidify it as a first ballot?
I don't think he needed this to confirm that. I think he's been a first ballot Hall of Famer for quite some time now. Really, just the things he's able to do, the leadership that he brings. I mean, he's constantly in conversations of being the one of the best ever, and it's just it's hard to quantify what he's able to do and what he's able to bring to a team and organization. And he's just been the leader of it the entire way. Kids are still growing up wanting to be Sid, and that was the case 10, 15 years ago. So he's just a unicorn. He really is. And it's I knew how great he was, before getting this job. I knew how great of a player he was, how great of a person he was. But once I got here and got to see how he operated on a daily basis, that's when you start to realize how special he is, just how much he prepares, how much he cares about winning, how much he cares about the game and respecting it, but also doing whatever is best for the team and whatever is best to win the game. I mean, even just last night in Edmonton, we were talking about it on the bus ride back to the hotel, the goal he scored that helped the Penguins to a 3-0 lead and
Mhm.
score 3 goals in a matter of 37 seconds. I mean, he just takes this snap pass from atop the circles and it's just able to angle his stick so perfectly that it finds an
Right.
area towards the net, let alone gets it past Tristan Jari. So it's little things like that that he does on a daily basis. I mean, now he'll take the puck down into the corner. He's below the goal line. It seems insurmountable that he could have an opportunity to score, and yet he's able to just chop the puck and do it in a certain way to where it's actually a high danger chance. So it's been really cool to just to see him, you know, on the back end of his career. I'm not ready to say he's ready to hang it up or anything like that, but clearly he's this is year number 21 in the NHL. So he's had all these other fantastic years already in his rearview mirror, and he's able to do all this stuff now at age 38. It's truly remarkable.
Yeah, yeah, they don't last forever, unfortunately, and we do see some of the absolute amazing athletes. I mean, heck, you just mentioned it, Sidney Crosby, 21 years. I mean, you got Alex Ovechkin has been in this game for a long time. I mean, we're coming to the end of seeing these legendary athletes across every realm of all sports. It's sad to say that we grew up watching them and now they're coming to the back end of their time, and you're like, this is a hard thing to accept, but it's a great thing to get to watch some of the absolute legends of every gameplay. All right, Mike, go ahead, man.
By the way, I just want to let you know before I ask this, the second question is you're doing a phenomenal job. I watch a lot. I watch every Penguins game. I'm a huge fan since 1989. So just want to let you know you're doing a fantastic job. But
Well,
did
thank
you
you.
ever envision yourself working for the Penguins, or did you have somewhere? Did you have somewhere else that you had an eye on?
No, I mean, this was a pretty big surprise for me. I mean, I had not even been in Pittsburgh until the job interview. And actually, back when I was 10 years old, realizing I wanted to do this, I was envisioning baseball. Baseball was my first love. It was the first sport I really would obsess over. I was a big Cubs fan growing up in the south side of Chicago, ironically. But watching every game and listening to every game and trying to um, understand how these broadcasters were able to describe the action, call the game so well in real time, and
Right.
I almost became more infatuated with that, more so than the game. Um, so then, as I got older, I knew that I continued to know that this is what I wanted to do. Obviously, it sounded like a long shot dream, but then you go to college, you study it, you call the game. I called my first game my second semester, my freshman year. It was a women's basketball game, and you're like, wow, this is a lot tougher than it seems. But you just work at it. You keep trying to do it more and more, and I never tried to slow down in my play-by-play reps. I called as many games as I could in college. Right out of college, I got an internship with the minor league baseball team, and then I was in minor league baseball for about 12 years. And hockey was actually the last sport
That
I had called. Yeah, like I was doing football,
yeah, that's what
basketball.
yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's what I do. That's what I do on my channel. I cover the Penguins and I cover the Yankees. So and I do the Steelers too. I do a lot of play by play. So I see what you're
Nice,
getting
nice.
at with that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I tell
Go
everyone,
ahead,
like, you
Brandon.
just got to do it. You got to do it. You got to practice it. You got to try it out because that's the only way you're going to get good at it, and the only way you're going to get better.
And people don't realize that in this industry, it's not, gumdrops and candy for everybody. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of prep that is involved. And my show, it is we air it 3 times a day. I mean, 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and it's for 90 minutes each time. That's a lot of prepping that I still have to do, and just to get prepared for it. And people often think, oh, you just show up, call it a day, and leave. No, there's a lot more to it than just showing up and calling it a day. It's a lot of work. Now, Joe, I do
Mhm.
want to say this. Now, we have all noticed a lot of the inconsistencies. I'm sure you have too with the Penguins this season, the inability to close out certain games late at times, the issues with power plays, the inability really to end games and shootouts as of late. You know, Obviously this is a big issue, but we're coming to the second half of the season. Do you personally think that they have the right tools, the right direction to turn this around and head into the second half as we're already starting to see a blazing trail, but make it into the Stanley Cup playoffs with a potential as a higher seed? I mean, obviously, you have to deal with the likes in the East of Carolina, of Tampa Bay. Now Detroit has made a name for themselves, and obviously you look over the West and you do see Big Brother in Colorado, who leads the entire league in points. But do you think that they could correct the ship and be able to go into the Stanley Cup playoffs on that high that they need to go on?
Well, I think the recent trend that they've been on right now is showing what this team is capable of when they're able to put it all together. They're 3-0 on this road trip right now. They've had some very impressive wins, and I think the most impressive one actually came last night in Edmonton against the Oilers, and Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, who was a late addition, a surprise addition to the lineup before last night's game. The shootout situation, I don't know how to break it down. I just don't. It's kind of a quirky part of the NHL schedule. I truly am a fan of it. I know it's kind of a polarizing topic, but I do like the shootout. I think there is a world where it can still exist to determine a winner past overtime. But the power play is still top four in the NHL despite its recent struggles. They've only scored 3 goals in their last 6 games, I want to say, maybe 7 now, but they all came against the
7.
Philadelphia Flyers. But they still have a lot of star power on the power play, and it's also featuring guys like Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, Ricard Raquel. And then I'm trying to think one other point that you brought up, but I mean they're a very solid team right now. They are, and it's a matter of just making it to the playoffs, and once you get there, who knows what can happen. But sitting in second place in the Metropolitan Division right now is a good spot, and they're surprising a lot of people at this moment, and showing what they're capable of. So it's been fun and entertaining, and the Olympic break I think will help out a lot. But then also it's going to be a very strong push to the end of the year. This is an older roster. It'll be interesting to see how they respond with playing pretty much a game every other day. But if they're able to continue what they're doing right now, I think they'd be in a good spot.
Before I let Mike ask the last question for you, I want to ask you. Um, you did just mention that you're in second place in the Metropolitan. You're literally knocking on the door behind Carolina. Are you guys? I mean, how do you come about approaching having to play teams like Detroit, like Tampa Bay, like Carolina? I mean, even, let's see, just another example, like Buffalo. Even Buffalo has surprised literally everybody this year. How do you guys get your minds mentally prepared to go into the second half of the season, having to know that you do have those teams? They're kind of starting to separate themselves from the rest of the pack.
Yeah, I think this is a team that gets really motivated for those types of matchups. Again, last night in Edmonton, I think was an example of that. Back in December, the Penguins were on a roll and they geared up for a game against Tampa and they won that game. I mean, they got bailed out a little bit on a hand pass towards the end of regulation that waved off an equalizer goal, but they still got 2 points, and then they were able to sweep Detroit in back to back fashion too. So they've shown they can hang with some of these tough teams. It's a different animal with the 7-game series. Don't get me wrong. That's going to be a tough matchup,
Right.
but you got to get there first. And right now, I think they're taking advantage of what they've been doing well right now and using it to propel themselves to be in a very good spot like they're at right now.
All right, Mike, go ahead.
I thought last night's game was good. We got revenge on Tristan Jarry last night, so that was really good to see on my end. But my question is, given the advancement of technology and the game of hockey itself, how has the game evolved since you've been a part of the play-by-play?
It's You mean like my job or just hockey in general or
Both.
Yes,
okay.
both, both.
Yeah. I mean, because again, this is only my second year with the Pens, and I was working with the Hawks for 3 years doing pre and post. I was covering the team for about 10 years before that. But um, in terms of technology in the sport of hockey, I mean, I think like any other sport, it grows quickly, and every team is trying to figure out how to get an advantage over the rest of the league by the technology, the circumstances that they have, the accessibility to things. So, you're getting more analytics in the sport than you ever have before, and teams are trying to use that to their advantage. And I think they've done a good job, at least in the Penguins organization, with some of the acquisitions they made this past offseason. Guys like Parker Wotherspoon, Anthony Mantha, Justin Brazeau are just great additions to this lineup. And, they were kind of players that just didn't have a home. But Kyle Dubas and his staff found value in those guys and figured bringing them here will help them and help the team, and they've done just that. In terms of my job, um, I think it's easy for broadcasters to drown in stats and just kind of rely on stats so much, right? Because everything is so number heavy these days.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, what we're trying to do is have whatever we say or whatever we report stick to our audience, whether they're listening, whether they're watching. You want to try to relay the information as effectively as possible. So just saying 14 sentences in a row that just have a million numbers, is the audience really going to absorb that? Are they really going to take that in? So I think context is huge for my gig because okay, we are 3 for our last 21 on the power play, but all three of those goals came in one game against the Philadelphia Flyers. So this team is, yeah, maybe struggling, but they're also able to have a quick outburst, and they're still in the top 5 in the league. So it's, those are a bunch of numbers. You can say those in a couple of different ways, but you want to say it in a way that whoever is listening to the game I'm calling is able to understand that and able to take that in. So context is huge, and that's honestly why I like play by play the best, because you get you get the best of both worlds with that, and you get to figure out the
Mhm.
best way to relay it um, in an effective manner, and also mixing it in with just what's going on in the game. This job is great because it's very similar every day, but every day is also very different. You can get into a routine to prepare yourself. Maybe you catch a curveball where you have to adjust on that, but you can get into the routine. You can prepare yourself as best as possible, and then you never know what's going to happen come game day. So that's what I like about the job the most, and that's why I try to use all the resources we have with technology, with analytics, in a effective way, in a very productive way, so that I'm not just taking in all the info and putting it out there so that no one can really understand it. It's so that a way that I can value it and so can the audience.
Absolutely. Well, Joe, man, I want to say seriously, from the bottom of my heart, from my team, my team's members, Matt Thomas, Shane Owen, Brian Pettit, and Mike from Pensman Sports here, and our good friend Ralph Williams of RW Media. I want to say thank you from the bottom of our heart for coming on our show. Can you quickly let everybody know? I know when the schedule is. Mike knows when you're next, but can you let everybody know where they can listen to the next game between for Pittsburgh, and then when does this road trip end for you all?
Yeah, so it'll wrap up on Sunday. That's our last game of it. We're in Vancouver. That's oh boy, I should know this, but I don't. I want to say it's 3 o'clock
What do you
Vancouver
need?
time, so that would be 6 p.m. Pittsburgh time, I believe.
Okay.
6 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
6 o'clock.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, that'll be the next game. We come home after that. We play the Blackhawks on Thursday, but you can catch me on the Penguins app. If you download the Penguins app, there's just a little radio icon in the top right corner. We stream on 105.9 The X. That's an iHeart station. If you have the NHL app, you can just go to the little headphone icon. You can catch every game that way for free, every game in the entire league. Also, it's a great app. It's very accessible for everyone. And yeah, I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. So I'm out there as well. But hey, guys, pleasure's all mine. I appreciate you having me on and appreciate the chat and the conversation. And yeah, just happy to talk Penguins hockey.
That's right. Go Pens. Hey, I will talk to you again soon.
Hey, Joe, I
I'm
got one
looking
more
forward to
question
hearing
if you
talking
can.
about the playoffs.
Yeah, yeah.
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead, Mike.
Yeah. Okay. How's it feel in the stadium and in between and get to interact with the players?
It's cool, man. I try not to take it for granted, but I also try not to get too over my head about it as well. You want to have a responsible professional relationship with these guys, but you
Right.
also want to seem and feel like a human being as well. And I think that's sometimes a tough line to walk because listen, these guys don't need another friend. They don't need me palling up with them and trying to hang out with them during lunch and dinner or anything like that. But you want to make some sort of relationship to where you can get a good dialogue. And when I do have a question, whether it's for on the record or off, you can be approachable and get a true, genuine answer. But I will say everyone has been great. I think that's just hockey in general. I think that's the culture. They're a bunch of good old boys, and they're very polite. They're very engaging. They're down to earth as well, and they're just respectful human beings. So it's been a lot of fun, and just to go back on Crosby's aura. I mean, he's top of the charts with that as
Right.
well. Like just very down to earth. Always knows the right thing to say, whether it's in a scrum or just walking by. Just very charismatic, very genuine. Nice guy, almost always gives time for autograph seekers, with the kids waiting outside the bus or outside the arena. So it's pretty cool to see him almost always have a positive mindset no matter what the situation is. And it kind of puts everything into perspective. Like, all right, if Sidney Crosby can have a good day pretty much every day, I think I can too. So I think that helps go a long way as well.
I love it. Joe,
All
we'll
right, man.
talk to
Have
you
a good
soon.
trip
I
to
definitely want to have
Vancouver.
you on.
Have a good trip to Vancouver, man.
Yeah.
Yep, I
Thanks,
definitely
guys.
want to have you on again when we get closer to the playoffs. Does that sound good?
All right. Sounds good, guys. Thanks for having me.
Yep, go
You
Pens.
bet, buddy.
Thanks.
All right, guys. We will talk more in a little bit. All right, Matt, I'm going to go right to you with the next question. We'll throw it your way.